Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Today we are going to talk about 21st century skills, how to develop them in primary school and how to combine them with developing essential language skills, speaking, writing, listening and reading. In this video, I decided to use one of the most popular courses designed by Oxford University Press, especially for young learners, Bright Ideas. Bright Ideas is a 7-level course for students learning English from primary grade 1 to primary grade 6, and it also has a starter level which aims to bridge the gap between preschool and primary grade 1. The course has a contemporary approach enhanced by inquiry-based teaching methodology, combining a high-level grammar and vocabulary syllabus with 21st century skills: critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity. Let's check how these skills are presented in the course. Throughout every unit, questions labeled Think encourage students to apply the experience and opinion. Let's look through some examples.
Here you are, a vocabulary lesson. The topic of the unit or the big question of the unit, why do we like birthdays, demonstrates our inquiry-based learning approach. Exercise 3, labeled Think, say what you have got and what you haven't got, encourages students to apply their own experience. That is why it develops critical thinking skills. But there is also a connection with the vocabulary syllabus. Thus, students practice the new vocabulary via a personalization task. In addition, questions labeled Think, Pair, Share allow students the opportunity to firstly reflect quietly and establish their own viewpoint before they exchange these with other members of the group. Here you are, Think, Pair, Share activity. There are 2 questions here. The first one, which is your favorite answer to the big question? Students remember the answers to the big question from the unit and compare them, choosing one. The second question, why do you like birthdays? Here students are encouraged to bring their own opinions, ideas and experience to the lesson. That is why this activity serves to develop students' critical thinking skills and better their oral production.
Let's move on to the next 21st century skill, which is communication. Communication or language is of course all about communication. In order to communicate well, children need to be able to speak, write, read and listen effectively. In Bright Ideas, oral practice is presented in controlled practice and freer practice stages of the lesson, and throughout every unit, questions labeled Communicate give students opportunity for sharing their ideas and information. Here are some examples.
Here you are, a grammar lesson, and the last activity is labeled Communication. This activity is presented in the freer practice stage of the lesson, and it can be defined as communicative practice of the new grammar. In addition, Lesson 8 is a speaking lesson with a special focus on the pronunciation of a difficult sound for young learners in each unit.
The next 21st century skill is collaboration. It requires a direct communication between students. Students who work together not only achieve better results, but also gain a sense of team spirit. Bright Ideas encourages collaboration in every unit with students working in pairs, small groups, or as an entire class. All these activities are highlighted with Collaborate label.
The second activity aims to develop skills of collaboration. Firstly, students are asked to practice the dialogue in pairs. Then some pairs of students are invited to act out the dialogue for the class. As an extension, students can change the dialogue to make it about different items. Thus, they develop their collaboration skills and practice new grammar structures.
The last 21st century skill we are going to discuss today is creativity. Creativity is extremely important in child's education. Creative activities help to develop students' attention skills and promote their emotional development. Bright Ideas encourages creativity throughout each unit by allowing students freedom to offer their own ideas and express themselves without judgment. All these activities are highlighted with Create label.
The big project activities provide an opportunity to develop the 21st century skills of critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and of course creativity. Exercise 3 is labeled Create. Students are encouraged to work together. They each contribute ideas about things to include in their perfect garden. And one more creative activity I can't help demonstrating. At the end of every unit, students cut out, make and complete their mini books. Thus, students practice and personalize the language they have learned. Children are encouraged to take their mini books home to show and read to their parents or guardians. Reading the mini books to a parent forms a beneficial homeschool link.
The time of this video presentation is over, but I still have so many things to share. I said nothing about multiple intelligence theory and how it is presented in the course. I said nothing about digital collaborative learning and how this course prepares young learners to Cambridge exams. I have just mentioned inquiry-based learning because it's not possible to tell about everything, about all opportunities Bright Ideas gives us just in one short video. If you want to learn more about this course, please feel free to write about it in the comments. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward for your feedback and see you soon.